This video is a film study look at Klint Kubiak and the Seattle Seahawks opening act, their first drive against the Kansas City Chiefs, where we saw a lot or all of the starters out there. Really a dominant first possession on the ground, through play action. Kubiak starters, they just took it to Kansas City in all phases last night, not just the first drive. But the first drive was the hint or the clue for us about what was to come, right? That we would end up with 268 rushing yards in a really one-sided effort. Were it not for the punt return for a touchdown in the fourth quarter by Sky Moore, the differential, the final score would reflect the actual gameplay. I thought that it almost looked too easy at times for the complexity of the plays. These were very simple and direct plays. Nothing complicated, if you ask me. I didn't think Kubiak had to really go deep in his bag. He was able to put Sam Darnold and then later on Drew Lock into highly advantageous positions. Those guys were mostly making high percentage throws, and like I said, the team put up 268 rushing yards, overall 477 total yards of offense. That's a high level organization, the Chiefs that they're going against. Even though not all the starters out there on defense, certainly not guys like Chris Jones. If you ask me, it's something to be proud of. I'm gonna have to read this out pretty much every film study video that I do at this point. I believe that the video you're about to watch is transformative in nature. I'm not showing you the entirety of the all-22 film that's out there. It's actually not all available right now. I believe this falls under fair use. I think it's provided for the purposes of commentary and criticism and explanation, and to provide you with analysis that the NFL doesn't offer. In my opinion, this is a unique product and falls under fair use. And if the YouTube/NFL Content ID system intends to claim monetization, I intend to challenge it. Not going to show you every play from the first drive. Really don't think we need to do that, but the opening snap is pretty cool. This is Darnold's first action, obviously, on the field during the preseason. It's 21 personnel, so you have JSN and Cooper Kupp up on the field together, to the field, meaning to the wide side of the field. I'll generally try to give you a blue line prior to each snap, such that illustrates where the field is. So anything below that blue line is the boundary, the short side of the field in the NFL, and anything above it is considered to the field. It's a direct action run play with some motion built into it with JSN. And the one thing I like about what Kubiak was able to do is he ran similar formations. Basically, different plays look the same to the Chiefs and to us as fans. But when you get the all-22 angle film, you say, okay, they ran the same formation, platform, if you will, and then something different, a different play concept from it. Really nice job by the tight end here. I think it's Barner on the backside, stepping down. And then he's going to loop back to get the edge defender, defensive end / inside linebacker, really 54. I think it's Chenal. So he's going to loop back to get him. And then along with that, look at the wall that's been built by the fullback and the offensive line for these guys. Charbonnet able to cut off of that wall. And the basic seal on the backside by Barner creates a huge lane for Charbonnet on the very first snap to get 13. It's a statement. Snap, if you ask me, and where you're going to find out, okay, what a team can get accomplished against us in the run defense. In this case, it wasn't good enough for the Chiefs. This is very Rams-esque in a way. This is a third play. We're skipping around a little bit. It's 1st and 10, 21 personnel again. And you can see that the ball is on the left hash for the offense. So the wide side is the bottom of our screen, or the short side, the boundary, if you will, is the top. One thing to mention here is the personnel groups that Kubiak is using, and then where he's attacking. So when he attacked to the field with play action, it was typically to the field. But you do have two unblocked inside linebackers here, and that's actually something that comes up a couple of times during these cut-ups. I do want to talk about the concept that's occurring here and why I think it's Rams-esque. You've got the jet motion by Cooper Kupp from bottom to top for us, right to left for the offense. Little counter step by Charbonnet. And that's just to time things up with the pulling right guard. F counter is what I would call this. So normally that'd be a kick out block. And then the backside fullback / F, who would normally loop and wrap to go get a frontside inside linebacker. It doesn't work out that way, to be honest with you. It doesn't work out in terms of the blocking scheme. Why I call it jet follow is because the run action is in the same direction as the jet motion. Oftentimes you get jet dive. So the jet action goes here, and the dive but the running back goes opposite of it. So you're trying to get linebackers, maybe second or third level defenders, to flow up and then run back against the grain of that motion. This is jet follow. It's going in the same direction. Additional to that, there is no kick out block. The kick out block doesn't occur. You get a pinch by a frontside D tackle, so Bradford can't get there. He can't kick someone out. His path is disrupted. You can see he kind of runs into, I believe it's the left tackle. And as a result, Charbonnet's got to kind of stutter his feet a little bit and then work around that block instead of going underneath the kickout block, work around it to get a 4-yard gain. And oh, by the way, who shows up? The 2 inside linebackers, like I said, that were unblocked. Again, that's the third play, moving around a little bit. Talking about 21 personnel a lot. This is the same formation as the very first snap. It's 21 personnel. You do have a different tight end in down here, 81. It's not Barner. It's not Arroyo. Same exact motion by JSN. This is 2nd and 3. I've missed a first down run play. But it's a return motion by JSN. And you're also getting split flow by the running back and the fullback. In this case, it's Charbonnet and the fullback 40, Oots. The inside linebackers no one connects to JSN. So this is just a really nice job of building a play from the same platform formation that you've already shown, and then recognizing how are they going to react to it. So a couple of things. Up here, that's Kupp running a vertical route, and he's just being matched by the corner. I think that's Noel Williams, a rookie. So, he's certainly not going to be a starter for them. He's a quality athlete, and he'll be a really good player in the NFL, in my opinion. But that's a clear out. So basically, Kupp is occupying that route, and then the safety is there as well. None of the 3 linebackers has expanded at all with JSN on the return motion. It's very simple. The inside linebackers, someone has to match a guy into the flats to put, no matter really what coverage they're in. You can see you've got a corner down to this side just hanging out. I think this is all designed to go. If you had an 11 personnel grouping, the Chiefs would match with a nickel defender whose feet where he's going to be. 4-2-5 personnel is going to match 11 personnel for the offense 90 to 95% of the time in the NFL and high-level college football. What do I mean by 4-2-5? 2 safeties here and here. Nickel defender, again, set to the field with the ball on the left hash. My apologies, I didn't show that blue line and talk about it. So the wide side of the field is to our bottom side of the screen, the Seahawks right, and the boundary is to the top side of the screen, our screen, the Seahawks left. So where does he attack this time? He actually runs directly at the nickel. So the offensive line is all stepping to their right, our bottom side of the screen. And the tight end is looking for the nickel. He's literally looking right at him right now. And you'll get the end zone angle to confirm that for yourself. He actually doesn't go get the nickel. Kupp does. So Kupp comes in here and kind of digs him out a little bit. And then Barner adjusts. He folds underneath to go get the frontside inside linebacker. Really cool play. I don't know if this is a read, if Barner just recognizes it. Okay, the nickel's not stepping up. I'll leave him for Kupp, and then I'll go fold into the frontside inside linebacker. And if you ask me, that's one of the reasons why this play hits kind of as big as it does. So try to track Barner, the tight end, stepping back inside the tackle. You can see folding inside, leading up to the frontside inside linebacker here. And that allows Charbonnet to work for more yards. So it's very possible that Kupp and Barner are both assigned to the nickel defender, and then they react off of his post-snap movement. If the nickel was to come up here, then maybe Barner would try to dig him out, and Kupp would possibly work to the frontside inside linebacker. They just might have a tandem or a dual read on that concept. And in this case, Barner releases the nickel to Kupp, and then works to the frontside inside linebacker. Hopefully I explained all that in a way that makes sense. If not, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I do think it's noteworthy that on the initial 4 run plays for the Seahawks, you're talking about a 13-yard gain, a 4-yard gain, 7-yard gain, and a 6-yard gain. Now, one of them here was out of 11 personnel. It was run directly at the nickel DB. The run directly at the nickel defender, essentially a sweep path where Charbonnet cuts it up. But out of 21 personnel groups, or 12 personnel groups as well, Kubiak is kind of, if you ask me, setting the stage for some of the play action stuff. Basically, giving the Chiefs something to see and identify, and then later on take advantage of it. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. Backtrack back to the same play, my apologies, but the end zone angle. And you can see Barner when he motions over. I mean, he's literally looking right at the nickel DB. There's the offensive line path. Like I said, they're all stepping to their right or left on the screen because we got the end zone angle. And Barner's totally locked in on the nickel defender. And you can see since that nickel doesn't go anywhere, Barner immediately, watch his eyes, watch his face mask switch now and go to look to step inside. It's called a ISO or insert block. So he's stepping inside of that B gap and moving up, but he's doing it after successfully making a read. And in this case, if you believe what I'm saying, I think his read is the nickel DB that Kupp goes and picks up. A little bit more to talk about here from an offensive line standpoint. So we'll talk about on the backside of this. Zabel ends up falling down, but nice job here of just punching the D tackle and letting the left tackle take over. Now the left tackle, I think it's Jones, who will be a backup. I'm familiar with his game a little bit from him spending time with the Ravens last year. Quality backup guy at guard / tackle. Zabel punches to allow Jones to take over. 99 still kind of sheds him a little bit, but you can see Jones is able to seal that guy off primarily because Zabel punched him to him. Also, I think Zabel kind of falls over this defensive lineman's foot for the Chiefs, and that's what makes his attempt to get to the linebacker so ugly. Gets shoved to the ground. A lot to say about a 6-yard gain. My apologies for that, but that's kind of what I think you're looking for. There's Kupp locked up with the nickel defender, and then there is Barner with one of the offensive, if you ask me, to get to a 6-yard gain. And in my opinion, it's an illustration that they're really run blocking at an incredibly high level for this early in the preseason. The very next snap here after that 6-yard gain, Kubiak is going to go back to 20 to the top. It's going to be a boot. That's pretty much what you got on the first 2 possessions. Kubiak kind of making things easier. How has making things easier on his quarterbacks in terms of the conservative play calls in the pass game. So this is a base 4-3 look for Kansas City. Steve Spagnuolo is a 4-3 guy. This is a corner down here to the tight end nobody side. So tight end nobody means this tight end, and then there's nobody, no eligible receivers lined up outside of that tight end, closer to the bottom side of our screen. It looks like F counter, the play that Charbonnet hit for 4 yards on the second snap of the game, because you have the pulling guard, in this case it's Zabel, and then the fullback who is also stepping in the same direction, but he's going to reverse field, illustrated by that blue line there. He's going to reverse field, Charbonnet giving the same counter step here, and in fact, watch this inside linebacker when Charbonnet takes his counter step. He's literally pointing to his left because he's seeing the counter step, and he's seeing Gray Zabel, the pulling left guard, go in this direction. So they're making it look like F counter, again, establishing a play and then showing the Chiefs defense something similar. In this case, play action. So many variations to this that Kubiak's got, right? You may remember the one from last week against the Raiders to Oots out into the flats. They had also given a similar play look, a similar scheme earlier in that drive to give the Raiders defense and their linebackers the same look. So basically, there's your 3 inside linebackers, the 2 orange lines. They're lined up kind of nice and neat for us. As an aside, I thought Darnold and Locke threw the ball really well, moving to their left on the play action stuff. Yes, they're NFL quarterbacks. You'd think they'd be able to do that easily, but you still have to practice it. So moving to his left, right-handed quarterback, starting his motion with his left foot still on the ground, planting in the middle of the throwing motion. It's not easy to do that for regular people like us. Darnold and Locke made it look really easy last night. Brilliant play call, if you ask me, again, to get 13 yards. Very next snap, and this is right around the time when I started to think to myself, after this play, I should say, started to think to myself, okay, he's running boot to the field out of heavier personnel groupings because there is no nickel defender in this area to help cover someone out in the flats. On the previous snap, it was the fullback. 3 plays ago, it was JSN. In this case, it's going to be Arroyo. Ball on the left hash. The wide side is to their right. There's the 3 inside linebacker look against 12 personnel. And so here's what you get in terms of backfield action and what I would call a Y-hide concept. So the Y-hide concept would refer to Arroyo here, running down to this area into the right flats to get the completion. Darnold's path is illustrated by the yellow line, and then Charbonnet is the blue line, the play fake. Play action with Arroyo going opposite. Conceptually, I would just call this waggle pass. It ends up looking like a flood concept overall. This corner here is the outside corner. We'll pull it back and let you see him here. He's tracking with JSN. So once again, you've got pretty much a clear out route, just like the completion to JSN, where Cooper Kupp ran the clear out route. Darnold has booted, and now he's delivering the pass on time. Just rinse, wash, and repeat to me. A play action boot to the field out of a heavier personnel group. I'm not saying that's all you're going to see from him all year long, but that's what he gave the Chiefs. That's the problem he presented to the Chiefs on the first drive, he being Kubiak, and the Chiefs' defense was not able to get the correct answer. Touchdown run by Charbonnet, unfortunately, only got the all-22 angle. There's a lot to talk about here. I'm going to analyze this in a moment. This is split zone, somewhat similar to jet dive in that you've got a jet motion. I think it's by Horton, the yellow line illustrated. And then 81 is the tight end who's going to get a kick out block that Charbonnet will run underneath of. So there's the kick out block that will occur here by the tight end. Perfect timing on it in terms of Charbonnet's arrival. The time that he arrives there and the kick out block synced up perfectly. And you can see that there's a huge area of the field that's been vacated. Why? There's a couple of different reasons. First of all, you get the motion going across. Okay. And if you're in man-to-man structure, then you're going to get someone moving. In this case, it's the rookie Noel Williams following this motion. Williams hesitated for a moment, first of all. But second of all, this is the level or another layer to this play that I want to diagram, and I talked about it briefly in the reaction video. It is an arc release. So what that means is this tight end's not blocking anyone. He's just arc releasing out, essentially making it look like he's running a route, and there's going to be a defensive back. It's a safety. Track along with him. So we're talking about this guy right here. So you've got a subtraction of one defender, Noel Williams, who goes with the motion. And then after that, you've got the arc release by Arroyo that's going to pull this defender. So they've successfully subtracted two defenders from the box, even though it's a heavier personnel grouping. True manipulation, if you ask me, of the Chiefs' defense. No matter who they had on the field, Kubiak did a great job. You have to give him credit. There's no reason to downplay what occurred last night. Those guys were incredibly prepared on the first drive. 15-yard touchdown run caps a 10-play, 81 drive. I think this play had a lot. Their play on the first drive had a lot of layers to it, and in my opinion, made it a whole heck of a lot of fun to watch. Really thought this was a statement drive. I'm not sure I used those exact words in the reaction video last night. It was conservative. Hopefully I was able to give you an idea of what I mean. These are low-risk plays, but really exploited the Chiefs, right? The play-action boot stuff makes it obvious, right? The number one receiver, whether it was JSN or Kupp, is essentially just clearing out a path. And then now, because there's no nickel defender on the field, it's the inside linebacker D-end tandem. One of those two guys, it's their job to deal with the route out into the flats and or the quarterback on the boot. In some ways, it's really just math since there's no nickel defender to the field. Out of all 21 or 12 personnel group, there's just no bonus player to the field for the defense. And Kubiak, through motion and or formation, he was consistently able to get Sam Darnold out into open space, whether he was sliding or booting to his right or left, depending on the field. I thought this was extreme manipulation. Could they have done this for 4 quarters against the Chiefs starters? I don't know, and I don't care. They got it done on the first drive against the Chiefs with a number of starters and quality players out on the field. And Sam Darnold and then later on Drew Lock was able to find guys like JSN, Oots, or Arroyo out in space. They just outflanked Kansas City's defense. But the run game was still hitting. That's the neat thing. On this drive, 5 carries, 45 yards, on this possession. It controlled the ball, set the tone, and it carried over for the rest of the game. Drew Lock on the very next possession, right? Second or maybe even third string players, just leads the offense right down the field. Halani and Martinez had 69 yards rushing on that second drive. That's the drive that culminates early in the second quarter to put them up 14-0. It's pretty much over at that point. And then Seattle finished with 268 yards on the ground, 477 overall. I mean, whoa. It is a special first showing for the starters. If you ask me, in Seattle last night, and I understand it was quite loud in the stadium. A lot of fun for me to try to produce this video. Feel free to let me know if you enjoyed it in the comment section. If you think I missed anything from the first drive, it went on quite long, 20 minutes for the first drive, but I enjoy trying to produce possession-oriented videos where we can look at the progression of how plays are called. And in my opinion, Kubiak had this set up. It may have been scripted, if you will, but see, the scripts aren't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Scripts are 1, 2, 3A, 3B, 3C, which would depend on how the defense matched up and played play number one. I tried to give you a little bit of an illustration of that in the video. I was unable to do that. That's my limitations, not Klint Kubiak's. That's absolutely what occurred on Friday night. It was a whole heck of a lot of fun to watch that game and then produce a reaction video later at night. I will have some other film study videos out this weekend. My family's traveling for the last time this summer before the school year, and my business really starts this year in the fall. So if you did enjoy this video, first of all, please let me know in the comment section. Like the video. Second of all, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media if you enjoyed it. And finally, if you'd like to support my work directly, I do offer a Patreon option. I have one for Ravens fans, I have one for Lions fans, and I've made one available for Seahawks fans. It's $5.50 a month. Feel free to subscribe to it. There's a link in the description. You can do so only during the football season if you want to support my work. I'll produce Seahawks videos anyway. It's just a way for you, if you desire to and you're able, to directly generate some revenue for me each month. $5.50 is quite cheap. Right now we have 9 people in that Seahawks Discord. It's a secure, private environment where people can discuss the game, the players, and the schemes. And I have the app on my phone, so I'm able to respond at pretty much a moment's notice. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments section.